In terms of IR, Tony Burke's going to go on the hard sell on this week.
Yep.
Which proposal do you fear the most out of this? Is it same job, same pay? Is it casuals? And do you think the Greens, Lydia Thorpe and David Pocock, will just wave it through the Senate, the IR reforms?
Well, again, I'd say to Tony Burke and Labor, listen to the business community, listen to the front page of The Australian today, respond to the letter that the business community have written to you, Tony. They have been part of, and Andrew, you know better than anybody because you got the exclusive, the behind closed doors negotiations. They haven't been able to talk about what's in the IR legislation, but what we now know from the letter that has been received is that it's worse than they could think. It smashes productivity, it smashes investment, and it smashes job creation. So I would say to Mr Burke, just slow down. Listen to the business community. Businesses, employers, they are the job creators in this country. Governments put in place policies, and in this case, the business community, they are openly telling you the next tranche of industrial relations legislation, regardless of what it is, because this is an omnibus bill, will smash productivity, will smash investment, will smash job creation. And Andrew, quite frankly, I don't know how much more Australian businesses and Australians can take, whether you're battling increases in your mortgage repayments, increases in your electricity bills, increases in your daily cost of living, to think they're going to overlay this now with another tranche of industrial relations legislation, which the business community says, please, it is going to kill us. You really have to wonder where Labor's priorities are.
Just the second point of that question briefly, do you think the Greens and David Pocock will see it through, or do you have some hope it can be stopped in the Senate?
Well, again, I would hope that, the Greens know. I have no hope with the Greens, unfortunately. They're pretty clear lockstep with Labor. It would probably go even further, in fact, than Labor. In relation to Lydia Thorpe, though, and David Pocock, I would just say to all crossbenchers, just sit down with the business community. Understand the impact. If you believe Australia has a productivity problem, if you believe Australia has an investment problem, but more than that, if the business community are saying this next tranche of IR legislation will smash jobs, guess what? You're smashing Australians. And more than anything now, Australians need jobs.
All right.
Because without a job, quite frankly, I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, there's plenty of jobs around at the moment, I might point out. But just finally, we've got Alan Joyce in front of a Victorian Parliamentary Committee on Cost of Living this afternoon.
Yep.
Have you got a view on Qantas's profits, its prices at the moment, and its bid, seemingly backed by the PM, to keep Qatar Airways from operating more flights in Australia?
Well, I do. It's absolutely unfair. And Alan Joyce himself acknowledges he lobbied against Qatar being able to bring in the additional flights. The government's been all over the place in relation to why it made this decision, from human rights to keeping planes out of the sky. That's a bizarre one. But I have to say, Stephen Jones himself at least told the truth. We made the decision to keep Qantas profitable. Well, guess what you did? But not only that, for a government that talks tough on competition laws and tackling duopolies and monopolies, Stephen Jones himself, Andrew, said this, but Qantas was a special case. The only people who lose out here are Australians who are screaming for cheaper airfares, but also tourism and hospitality, because guess what? Those 21 additional flights would have brought in thousands of additional people, tourists, every year, about $500 million worth of additional economic activity per year. Labor has now said no to. But at least Stephen Jones was honest. They backed in Qantas. Qantas are a special case, and they wanted to keep the airline profitable, but at a cost to all Australians.
Senator Michaelia Cash, Shadow Attorney-General, thanks so much for your time this afternoon.